Hi, welcome. I don't know what I'm saying. You do it.
Hello everybody, Chef Marcus Guiliano here.
And Jamie.
And we are restaurateurs on a mission.
Yes, we are.
We want to educate people, show people that healthy food, local food, independently produced wine, booze, food is a viable option for people everywhere. So we want to educate, and thanks for tuning into our YouTube channel or into our radio show, Chef on a Mission Radio. And we'll put links to all that on the bottom. So today's topic, what do we have, Jamie?
The 9 organic and sustainable food trends taking over 2018.
Ooh, love that. And where do we source this article from?
We got it from Organic Authority. And,
great website.
Great website. They have lots of great articles on there. They have recipes. They have lots of cool things on there. So check it out, organicauthority.com.
And you're going to check out those desserts, 5 indulgent desserts?
I am. Vegan desserts. I'm going to take a look at them as soon as we're done with this video and see maybe if I can whip up some fun desserts because I love to bake. So.
All right, let's jump right into this.
Excellent. So the number one organic sustainable food trend of 2018 is even more organic food. Just when it seems like the market for organic food can't grow anymore, it does. Forbes credits millennials in large part for the increasing demand for organic food. In 2016, the organic market reached a whopping $43 billion, and organic food currently represents 5.3% of the total retail food sales in the U.S.
I remember in the late 90s when, they were struggling to hit $10 billion, the organic food sales.
Wow.
I remember this a long time ago when it was so it wasn't new, but the wave was just, you couldn't even see the wave yet.
Yeah.
The wave's coming, and this is the future.
It sure is.
But organic can be tricky, so
you have to be careful. You have to read the labels.
You have to read the labels.
Just because it says organic doesn't necessarily mean it's the best option for you or the healthiest option for you.
Locally produced food that is produced sustainably, whether it's certified organic or not certified organic, is definitely the way to go. Eating seasonally, eating local, just because you're buying something organic from across the world means there's a lot of detriments to that product, but we'll talk about that. And of course, don't forget that organic, the big organic logo, USDA logo, is made by big corporations, those standards, so they have to make it for the big guys to play the game. So if you're buying organic chicken from a massive producer in Georgia, right, it's much different than the organic chicken you're buying, organic style chicken you're buying from your neighbor who's a farmer.
Or the independent small little guy.
Right, so it's two totally different organics. So let's not confuse that. But organic's a good concept and it's a good base to start. And always look for organic first.
Excellent. So number 2, plant-based diet innovation. The popularity of plant-based diets will not wane this year, but vegan meals won't necessarily look like what you're used to either. With a plant-based mindset gaining a hold on mainstream food choices, we predict even more innovations in this food space. And interesting, because the next one, jackfruit, for instance, is increasing in popularity as a meat substitute, with South Florida importers like Exotic Growers Incorporated reporting rising demands for the fruit.
We have jackfruit on our menu right now.
That's why I find that interesting. Yep. We just put it on back in December, and so I find that interesting. Let's see. Michelle Simon, Executive Director of the Plant-Based Foods Association, also notes that she expects shelf space for plant-based replacements for meat, eggs, and dairy to increase in 2018 as more and more companies innovate new products in these categories. You
even have burger places, burger restaurants that now have a good vegan plant-based burger, and in fact they're out there spreading it. They have signs, they have it on their menu, they have it on their email blasts. Beyond Meat is a great company. Impossible Burger, the Impossible Burger, I haven't tasted it yet, but it's getting a lot of great reviews. I'm not sure what's in it now. Of course, there's a couple different ways. There's 2 different ways to look at eating vegetarian and vegan. The healthy or the unhealthy way. There's certain foods where they're making it taste like bacon, making it taste like beef, making it taste like a chicken nugget, which it's junk food. And then there's companies like Field Roast, which I love the Field Roast products. There's companies that they're doing a better job at making the analog or the faux meats. So you just have to look at the labels and see what the story is.
Absolutely. So look for more plant-based meals in the stores.
And in restaurants.
In restaurants. Number 3, more grass-fed meat. People who opt to eat meat are becoming more and more concerned with where it comes from. We've been saying this for years. And the grass-fed meat market is seeing ever-increasing demands. According to the Star Tribune, sales of conventional grain-fed beef have been declining for years, with sales of grass-fed beef growing from 17 million in 2012 to 272 million in 2016.
That's a massive increase.
That is. This shift will continue in 2018 as well, thanks in large part to retailers like Organic Valley and General Mills, which acquired Epic in 2016, committing to providing more grass-fed meat and grass-fed dairy to consumers.
So, be
weary and check the labels and make
Especially
sure you
at
do a little
restaurants.
bit of research. Just because it's called grass-fed, right? You gotta check. I mean, we have found tons and tons of places that are saying grass-fed, but they're grain-finished.
Right.
Or
so chefs think, the problem is chefs think, they automatically think that, because you go on a website
and it
and
says,
the website rancher shows you cattle on grass, they automatically assume that it's grass-fed. This is a simple way to break it down. Every single animal, cow, heifer, beef that goes into production, at least spends a certain amount of time on grass.
Of course.
You have the calver, which calves them, which gives birth, that rancher, and sometimes they'll stick them out on grass pastures or with the mother. The mid feeder, because the cattle go through auction after auction before it gets to the producer, to the actual person who's putting the stamp on it when they're a brand. So the mid-level feeder, he sticks it out in grass pasture. He's not giving it grain. They're just out there to grow on grass, and then the cattle goes to another auction, gets sold off to another person who's going to then finish it in a feedlot. So technically, every animal out there has eaten grass in its life, and chefs think because the animal's eaten grass, they can call it grass-fed. According to the American Grass-Fed Association and according to the USDA, to have something labeled truly grass-fed. As soon as you say grass-fed, it means only grass-fed. It has to eat 100% of grass, foraging things, hay. It cannot eat any grains whatsoever at all. Disqualifies it for calling it grass-fed. So some chefs will say, well, it's grass-fed and grain-finished. Confusing.
But
You're confusing the customer. Because, again, every cattle would be grass-fed, grain finished. If that's the case, every commodity product out there as far as grain fed beef, you can say it with every single piece of beef out there. So chefs, make sure you understand your terminology.
And consumers, make sure you're asking questions.
So ask the chef, say, is it pasture raised? Because our burgers are pasture raised. They give them very little grain, but they still give them grain, and we don't call them grass, we call them pasture raised. So they don't go to a feedlot, they stay out in the pastures. But our like ribeye and our other steaks, those are 100%. Those are grass fed. That's grass fed stuff.
Excellent. Number 4, better baby food. The trend of making your own baby food has been in natural food circles for a few years, but gourmet and health-conscious store-bought baby food is a newer trend that has taken firm strides in 2017 and promises more in 2018. So look for better baby food this next year.
We've had the pleasure of meeting Arnie and Ron Koss, K-O-S-S. They were the founders of Earth Best Baby Food in the 70s. They were the first organic baby food on the market. We met both brothers. They've come here to the restaurant. They started this in the 70s when no other baby was doing organic baby food. They went into the mainstream market next to Gerber. First baby food brand launched in 40 years and organic and going against a conventional counterpart. Massive success story. They don't own the company anymore. They sold it off. They had to sell it off piece by piece as they were going along to build the brand because it was something that was unheard of when they did it. But if they were starting that business now, totally different story, and they paved the way for this in the late 70s, early 80s.
But
yeah, making baby food's easy. You did it with both of our kids.
I did it with both.
Sweet potatoes, bananas, avocados, carrots, broccoli. You did it all. They had their own baby food. It was fantastic. It doesn't take much.
Number 5, a new outlook on fat. The heavily publicized announcement this year that butter is in fact good for you, compounded with growing popularity of fat-rich diets such as keto and paleo, are attitudes, right? On fat have done a full 180, and according to Nordby, this isn't over. Oil-free cooking will be in vogue, she says, with silken tofu or mashed sweet potatoes adding texture without fat. And when oil is being used, olive oil is out and algae is in, according to the Washington Post. Algal algal oil is stable at high temperatures and rich in omega-9 fatty acids, making it a safer, more healthful choice.
So this is interesting because there's a lot of people that still are on the low fat. I'm on the anti excessive fat use in food, so it doesn't need to be all that fat that we put into foods. As a chef, I've seen fat abused left and right. I like to make risotto with mashed sweet potatoes, because it gives it that texture. You don't have to add as much fat, nearly as much fat. But when you go to a restaurant, when you order mashed potatoes, risotto, certain things, loaded with butter, loaded, doesn't need all that butter. You just don't need it. Vegetables, common thing in most restaurants. Steam the vegetable, saute it, douse it with butter. Cook a steak, brush it with butter. Cook a chicken, load it with butter at the end. Just butter everywhere. We don't need that butter at all. It's not necessary to make good, tasty gourmet food.
Number 6, root to stem, a plant-based answer to the nose to tail movement. The root to stem mentality will see people seeking out ways to use the whole fruit or vegetable, according to Kat Cora, celebrity chef and restaurateur.
Yeah, so it says here something about using carrot tops for pesto.
Yes.
You know, I can't stand throwing away food, and I try to use a lot of things, and of course you still have a certain amount of waste. But you know, I juice pineapples every day, and I juice the cores. The cores are loaded with bromelain, the anti-inflammatory. That's the good part. That's the healthiest part of the pineapple. I haven't done anything with the green tops, but you know, I don't purposely trim the pineapple as much as most people would. I leave and I juice it. I juice it right in. So, but properly wash your food first, though, before you do stuff like that.
7, florals. Edible flowers will be on the rise, according to Cora, appearing in everything from coffee, marshmallows to popsicles. This trend is confirmed by Whole Foods, which notes in its 2018 food trends predictions that bright pink hibiscus trees, citrusy elderflower are going to be in the spotlight, as well as by Clint Yeager, executive chef of 17 in Sydney, who tells Forbes that petals will likely take the place of microgreens in restaurants for simple, edible garnishes.
I've been saying this for 20 years. Florals, flowers are so healthy. There's so many phytochemicals and nutrients in these flowers that they don't even understand them yet. I've been saying for 20 years, this is it. This is the wave. They're going to be popular. And I've been saying, if your chefs are buying edibles, make sure they're organic. Make sure they're not sprayed with pesticides. You see these beautiful, beautiful orchids out there and beautiful pansies and everything. Make sure when a chef's buying them that they are indeed chemical free, because a consumer will want to eat them. Dandelion flowers are very healthy. We've taught our kids to eat red clover flowers. Very, very sweet. The nectar inside, very, very healthy for you. They make red clover tea. So flowers, folks, are extremely nutritional. Very nutritional. 20 years I've been saying it, and maybe now it's coming too. Now, some of the health food cafes, California, that started this, was the trend 20 years ago, right, to eat these. So this was nothing new to certain people out there. And if you look at like Matthew Kenny's foods, he's had that stuff there for years. It's just part of living a healthy diet and lifestyle.
Number 8, Middle Eastern food. According to Cora, Middle Eastern food is likely to become increasingly popular this year. Rich in legumes like chickpeas, fava beans, and lentils, as well as healthy spices like cumin and antioxidant-rich pomegranate, this cuisine will take the cooking world by storm.
I totally agree. It was Indian a couple years ago. Middle Eastern's natural progression. Vibrant flavors, big flavors, healthier foods, hopefully healthier foods. You know, when you get into some of those cuisines like Mexican and stuff, the flavors are so big and powerful. You don't need to fry things. It's fresh cilantro, it's lime juice, it's lemon, it's spices, it's cumin, it's all these things, ginger, that lighten things up, that just make things so vibrant. I've always loved those types of cuisines.
Number 9, organic and delicious functional foods. Wheatgrass has gone mainstream. The growing interest in functional foods, from cold pressed juices to adaptogens to ferments, has created an ever-growing market for these superfoods. But what we're most excited about is how delicious they're becoming. Sure, you can take your functional foods in supplement form, but with all of the new delicious shakes, juices, and powders, functional foods' tasty side is being played up as much as their astounding health benefits. We're excited to see even more recipes featuring these good-for-you foods in 2018.
How many years have we been adding wheatgrass powder into our chocolate torts? We were doing that in 2003.
We was.
Adding functional foods into our food.
So
yeah.
Look for these sustainable food and organic trends taking over this year. Yeah, which ones are you doing? Which ones are you following?
And as always, thanks for watching. If you like this, give it a thumbs up, leave some comments and some questions, and we'll be happy to answer.
Have a great day.